Hello, everybody. It's Mark Bloomhard here with Bootstrap, and today's episode of Hustle Grit is how to give criticism. A couple episodes ago, we talked about how to receive criticism, and a couple days after that, I'm like, what the heck, man? I'm like, probably the most important thing is how to give criticism, folks. So if you're trying to communicate, it's your responsibility to give positive feedback, right? It is your responsibility of communicating. If you're open up your mouth, it is your responsibility to be able to give criticism that people will accept, right? So there are only 4 steps and 4 very critical steps to giving positive feedback, right? So here we go. Step number 1, make sure you know what you're talking about, folks. Okay? What will piss me off all the time is if I listen to somebody and all they have is opinions, right? Opinions. I'm telling you, I'm sick of it. And everybody else is sick of it, folks, right? We don't need opinions. I don't need opinions. I don't want to hear opinions. And the reason I don't need opinions, I don't want to hear opinions, is because my clients don't need opinions. They don't want to hear opinions, all right? They're not hiring us in our studio to give opinions. We've got to give expert advice grounded in research, academic research, and or the fires of personal experience, or professional experience, I should say, right? Those are the 2 things. That's called expert advice. It's different than an opinion, right? Think about CEO. We work with CEOs and presidents all the time. These people are completely surrounded by individuals that will give their opinion. They're not going to pay for it. They're sitting at the kitchen table, they're sitting in the car, they're sitting at the bar, wherever they are. They're surrounded by opinions. The last thing they need is another opinion. But what they do need is solutions. And they do need to have solutions that's, again, grounded in academic research or unadulterated fires of experience. And let me tell you one thing right now. Everybody that says experience doesn't matter doesn't have experience. How about them red apples? Take that, roll it, and smoke it. Take that to the bank. I don't care what you do with it. The people that say experience doesn't matter don't have it, right? So the people that we're talking to, the CEOs and the presidents, they have experience. And they understand that experience matters, all right? News blip. So make sure when you're giving criticism, you start off with something that you actually know about, right? So read about it, be deliberate in your communication. If you don't know what you're talking about, my goodness, get on something called the internet, all right? And you could do quickly search a little bit, saying, okay, what are social media trends? You know, just hit enter, and you'll get a lot of answers, right? Some of them are junk, some of them are great, but at least you educate yourself. That's how simple it is, folks. All right, so number 1, start with reading. Start with a little bit of knowledge, folks. Have a knowledge base, all right? Don't insult yourself and everybody that hears you if you're just kind of talking out of your butt, all right? That's an opinion. We don't need opinion. Hopefully I'm clear on that, right? I do not have any need for your opinion, right? So that's the first thing. Second thing is start with the positive. We talked about this before. You start from an area of there's only 2 base camps when you're working as a creative. 1, you're collaborative, or 2, you're competitive, right? And I talked about this before. In my mind, I am highly emotional. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. There's shades of gray everywhere, folks. But, you know, when it comes down to working as a team, there's only 2 camps you're in. 1, you're competitive, or 2, you're collaborative. And this starts off with, you know, when you're giving criticism, you're in one of these 2 camps. That's where you're coming from. And if you're looking at life going like, wow, nobody really listens to me, nobody really hears me, what the heck? It's because you're coming from the wrong camp. Trust me on this one, folks, right? You can't have tension and be at odds with absolutely everybody. At some point, you got to look in the mirror and look at yourself, right? And I'm telling you, the keys to the kingdom is because you are competitive, not collaborative. And let me give you some symptoms, okay? If you are in a competitive mode, people cringe when you open up your mouth. Okay? Think about that for a second. They cringe when you open up your mouth because they know what's going to come out. Your idea, and your idea. There's no way that one person understands absolutely everything about what's going on in a project. It's intangible, and there's no way anybody will believe that it's your idea that's right all the time. You just can't. It's statistically impossible. So how can somebody always fight for their idea all the time? It's because they're coming from a camp that's competitive and not collaborative. So when you look back and look at your ideas, you've got to be fighting for somebody else's idea just as hard as that person's fighting for that idea. At least half the time, folks. Think about it. And so when you open up your mouth, these people are geared. They're ready for battle. They need to defend themselves. That was their idea. That was what they had. They're not just going to throw it out. They actually believe in it. So when you open up your mouth, they're actually ready to start defending themselves. And you set that tone. Because you're not competitive, or you're not, cooperative. You're competitive. You set the tone. So think about that for a second. And as you, let's say you didn't do that, right? Let's say you are collaborative. Then the biggest thing you can do is start with a sense of appreciation. Be thankful. Start positive. And I'm not talking about stupid comments either, going like, well, you tried really hard. I'm like, come on, man. Think about it. Dig deep and find something that's really positive about that. Say, you know what? I appreciate what you're doing. I understand the strategy. I understand that what you're doing might just perfectly hit the demographic that we're trying to connect with. All right? But I don't understand this. And that's the third part. Ask for clarification. Right? These people might have spent a day or 2 days or a week. They've spent a lot of time on this. They have an idea of why this will work. Then ask them what it's about. Ask them. Don't just sit there and shut it down. That won't work. How do you know that won't work? You don't understand what they were thinking about. Oh, I don't like blue. Well, ask them why did you have blue there? Why did you have that vector? Why did you say it this way? I need clarification. And you don't come saying, that's not going to work. Dude, I'm telling you, these people you just completely slammed them down in the last 2-3 days or whatever it was. That little project that you work on, bam, there it is. Again, hopefully it's clear to you. Either you're coming from a competitive stance or a collaborative stance, period. All right? And you've got to be positive about it. Say, okay, and it's an 80-20 rule. About 80% of what comes out of your mouth really needs to be positive. And the 20% shouldn't even be criticism. It should be asking for clarification. And instead of sitting there and just kind of completely dissecting it and be like, oh, this doesn't work, why isn't it more of a discovery? What if that person was a little bit off? And you could just kind of take them a little bit gently on the path. What if you're a little bit off? But they could bring you a little bit more on the path, and there's this clarification. So then all of a sudden, two of you guys are walking on a path together. Isn't that a better way? Seriously? Okay, there's only two camps, competitive and collaborative, period. Right? And you'll hear me talk about this all the time. The last thing is, circle back and just literally be thankful. Be thankful for that person. I try to make it a point that every time somebody leaves, I say, thank you. Thanks for everything. Because you know what? I need to say to myself, I'm thankful for that person. And until I'm not thankful that person can leave. I'm thankful that that person chose to spend the day with me. I'm thankful that that person worked on the accounts that they worked on. It's not always easy. I'm thankful for it. So be thankful for it, and it should come out. And you should, if you're a leader, you should be able to say, you know what? I can't do enough for everybody. I don't even have enough money for everything I want to do for everybody. You should be thankful for them. I want to do more. I want to celebrate more. I want to be thankful. I want to express that more and more and more. So 4 steps, right? First of all, you've got to read. You've got to have something that you're standing on, some kind of foundation. Never walk in, that pisses me off too. Never walk into a meeting not knowing what that meeting's about. And I can see it immediately. Maybe because I'm old, but it's that vacant look. I had a professor, he called it the trout look, right? It's kind of like you sit around a meeting and there's kind of variations of this going huh? They have no clue what's going on, folks. You can see it in their eyes. All right, when I come to a meeting, I know what that meeting's about. I want to be briefed on it. And when I get to the meeting, I want to hit the ground running because my time's precious and everybody else's time's precious. So first of all, read and be ready to deliver. Second of all, start with the positive, right? You start with the positive, nothing stupid, but say, okay, I really like this. Very, very distinct. Third, ask for clarification. And it needs to be grounded in humility. There's no way I'm right all the time. There's no way that person's right all the time. Let's see what's happening. Let's ask for clarification. Let's walk on this path to discovery, and let's walk on it together. So that's the third thing. The fourth thing, be thankful, right? Thankfulness should be the basis of leadership. Thankfulness should be the basis of all your interaction with everybody in the creative field. Thank you. Obi, stand behind the camera. Obi, thank you for waking up super early in the morning and shooting this episode. Dakota's sitting there. She's not even feeling well. Thank you, Dakota, for being here, right? It's priceless. And when you do that, you're starting from a camp of collaboration, not competitive. Good way to put a smile on everybody's face? Just say thank you, all right? Try it, folks. It works. Oh, the other thing is, a couple episodes ago, we're talking about book clubs, right? So every week we want to talk about a book or recommend a book. Now, if you're on this path with me and you're going to take your career seriously, and I'm begging you to, like, please take it serious, because this industry's unlimited, folks. You can make as much money as you want. The sky's the limit as a creative industry. So here's the book that we're talking about this week, all right? This is called The Fifth Discipline, The Art and Practice of the Learning Organization by Peter Senge, okay? Now, when you read this book, you're going to be like, oh, this book is boring. It is, all right? It's pretty boring, all right? So a lot of these business books that are the most seminal, that means that they're kind of groundbreaking research, they're kind of boring, all right? But the thing is, here's the big secret. It's a huge book, right? A lot of these business books, I've read hundreds and hundreds of them, it's only the first, let's say, 40 or 50 pages with the content that you really need, right? But then you read those 30, 40 pages, maybe 100 maximum, and then you cursorily read the rest of it, okay? So then you can tell everybody, hey, I read the book. And so I spent all my time really getting the meat and potatoes of that book. I've got literally hundreds of books on the bookshelf. And I know almost all those books pretty much inside and out. And the way I know all those books inside and out is I'm a speed reader, because I've taken speed reading classes, and I'm telling you that works. And I really pay attention to, let's say, the first 25% of the book. I'm going to go over greater depth of why this book is an incredible book, okay? Again, I'm sorry, it's pretty academic. There's really no pictures or anything, so bear with me, but read it. If you're on this path and you're serious about it, read this book, and let's say read the first 50, 60 pages, and then cursorily read, just kind of flip through the rest of it, and let's have a discussion about it. Yeah, and I think you'll be surprised why I pulled out this book as an incredible read. So wish you all the best, and have a great week, and see you next Friday.